Okay, so I showed you earlier in the week how we are going to use Google Docs, the Google Docs platform, as a way to moderate our reports. So you can write your reports in there, share it with the people, your buddies that will be editing these, so they can comment, suggest edits, and basically work collaboratively to write and moderate all your reports. So I'm going to use that system now and show you exactly the steps involved, how we do that. And also, we can use this for a lot of other things as well. So this will be a good kind of video to run you through how Google Docs is going to work. So let's go. So the first thing you need to do is go to Google, and you're going to sign in with your Google account. So I'm just going to sign in now. And this will be the account that we set up the other day, the one that is registered to GS Roxburgh Park, as it's our business account, essentially, our Google Apps for Education account. If you haven't switched across yet, I will have the details on how to do that on this site as well, and I'll have them on iTunes to use. So it's very, very easy, but I'm not going to go through it now. So I'm just going to sign in. As you can see, I'm signing in as GS Roxburgh Park, and I'll sign in there. Okay, and what you'll see up here, obviously here you can see your account is managed by GS Roxburgh Park, so now you know you're under our Google Apps for Education organisation. So the first thing you're going to do now to create a document, so you can start this editing process, is we're going to go into these icons here, and we're going to go to Google Drive, and that's where all your documents are created and stored. So I'm going to click on that. Now, if you haven't done this before, it may ask you to download Google Drive for your Mac, which you can do. It allows you to sync and save files on the actual hard drive of your Mac. Again, I'm not going to go through that in this video, but I'll explain that a little bit later and how I'm going to do that. And what you'll find is you'll see your drive here. Okay, so this is where you can make your new documents, and also where you can share your documents as well. Now, at the moment, I've got them just sitting here, but you can organize this folder however you like. You can make new folders, for instance. So you might make a folder here just called Reports, and it'll actually create a folder, and you can start putting files in there. So you can start organizing the structure as well. You don't just have to have it like this. Or you might make a new folder, and it's called Grade 6 Planning. Okay, and you can have all those Grade 6 Planning documents in there as well. So you can do that. You can also share folders as well, just like you can share individual files. So you can share this with your team, and they can all have the same documents and work on the same documents. But let's stick with the reports. So I'm going to actually open up a report here at the moment, just to use the information. I'm just going to steal this one here. I didn't write it, but I'm going to steal it anyway. Okay, and I'm just going to close that down because I don't want to change that one. So this is the steps that you basically have to go across here. So we're going to make a new file, and this is the file that we want to share. So I'm going to create in here, new, and you'll have a few options in here as well. You'll see that you can create a Google Docs, which is essentially your Word, Google Sheets, which is, again, essentially Excel, Google Slides, which is PowerPoint, and Google Forms and Drawings. Now, Google Forms is really handy for creating interactive forms. So, forms that you might have a questionnaire sheet or a quiz, and you can get people to fill in those forms, and it automatically populates a spreadsheet with all the responses. And then a Google Drawing is exactly that. You can draw shapes, you can do text, you can basically draw whatever you like, but again, because it's on the Google Docs platform, you can do that collaboratively. So, for instance, you might actually get a team to create a mind map, and they can all do that at the same time. But again, we're just going to stick to Google Docs here, and it'll create a new tab in the window, and what you'll see here is something that looks very similar to Word. First thing we're going to do is I'm going to name this, and I'm going to call it Reports Sample. Okay, but you may, of course, recall this create 5 reports, or what your reports are, because you'll have them all in there. So I'm just going to do OK there. And now you can start typing in your reports. So again, you can type this in manually, but of course, here's one I prepared earlier. Let's get rid of that there. Okay, and here are my reports. You can format them how you like. Again, you've got all your formatting options up here, bullets, everything that you're kind of used to in Word. You can insert pictures, you can do all that kind of stuff, but obviously for our reports, it is fairly basic, and it's just text. And the good thing with Google Docs as well is how you basically outline it here with your tabs, with your bullets, with your bolds, italics. That'll actually transfer across to Informa as is. So again, you don't need to edit that step, because we still need to do the Informa step as well. But here are the reports. Now, as I'm writing these, I'm in editing mode, and basically I will write all my reports. I can go back and change these whenever I like. You can see that whenever you make a change, all those changes are automatically saved, okay? And you'll have a revision history as well. So I haven't made any changes, but what will happen here is whenever I do make a change, it'll have a revision of that. So I'll close this down, and I'll show you what I mean. If I just write in my name, I should probably spell my name right. And I'm just going to add some other stuff. And again, you can see automatically saved there. And there's changes made there. And if I go into my detailed revisions, what you'll see here is you can actually step back in time. So you can go all the way back to the very start of the document. I had nothing. Then there was the first kind of edits I did, again in green. And then if I go to the next step here, you'll see the green is the edit that I made. So it allows you to restore your document back to any point in time. So again, very, very handy to have that there in case you somehow deleted the whole thing or something along those lines. You can go back and restore it. Or it also means that maybe you've written your entire reports, but there was something that you had in there that you wanted to get back. You may have changed a report. You don't need to restore everything back, but there's just a section of text. You can go back, have a look at that section, read the report, and you can actually take that bit of text out of there and then go back to your new report. So again, everything is revised and saved and backed up. So it's done automatically. You don't have to worry about that, which is why the system's really handy. So I'm going to close that down. And here's my report. Okay, so let's just say I've written the entire report, and now I'm ready to pass this on to my buddy to do the first round of editing. So we're going to do that now. So I'm going to share it with, so up here, you've got your sharing section. We'll explain comments in a second, but I'm going to go into share, and it'll bring up the sharing window. And this will basically allow you to share with whomever you like in our organization. So that means, anyone within Good Sam. So I'm going to share it with my other self. Okay, so here I've got Google, but again, because we're in the same organization now, if you just type in anyone's name, it'll come up with everyone in our organization that we can share with. So again, Paul's here. I'm going to type in my trusty psychic Summer, and again, you can start to share straight with them. So you don't need to know everybody's email addresses. You just need to know their name, and you can share with them as well. So I'm going to share this with myself, so I can actually show this in real time. And then what you'll see on the side here are these three options. So you can edit, you can comment, or you can view. Now, that means with your document, if I sent it to somebody, they could view it. They can't make any changes. They can view the document as is. If I say comment, they can add comments to the document, so they can't change my document, but they might add comments, what they like, what they think can change. And then finally, you've got can edit as well. And we're going to use edit on this one because it'll allow the person that's proofing your report to suggest edits. And again, I'll show that in a second. So we're going to say can edit. You can add as many people as you like in here. So if you want to share it with your entire team, you add all their addresses in. I'll soon have shortcuts up here. So instead of having to type in everyone in, say, the grade 3 team, you'll just type in grade 3 and they'll come up as well. But that'll happen soon. And then you do send. You can add a little note on here, please edit my reports. Okay, and then we'll click send. And that's off. And you'll see straight away, if I go into sharing up here, it's shared with one person. That person will get an email. It'll say, hey, Daniel has shared this document with you, and he wants you to edit your report. So they'll get an email as soon as this is shared with them, and they'll have the link to go straight to this, and then they can start editing. So what I'm going to do, and let's see if this works, is I'm going to now log in. So I'm going to move this to the side. I'm just going to move this one out of the way. All right, so we're going to try and do this side by side. And I've logged in at the moment on this screen with that other account. So I'm going to go into the drive of that account. So let's just say this guy over here is your buddy that's going to edit it. So here we go here. And what you'll find is they will have a shared with me drive, okay? They'll also get that email as well. So if I click on report sample, it's going to open up that window as well. I'm going to just sign in with my other account. And there we go. So what you'll see here, so remember this is your buddy on this window and this is you. You'll see I've now got this little G up here and I've now got a D on this one. So on my report, I'll probably put a little icon to make this make it easier. On my report I can see, someone else, and their name is Google Admin, but someone else is actually logged into my report at the moment, okay? And that could be your editing buddy. And if I start to actually go in here and type, you'll see on my other report, and I can even, yes, I did mean awesome, you can actually see them in real time typing on your report. So it means that you can actually collaborate on this document. You can have as many people as you like working on the document at the same time. And the more people that come in, you'll see their names pop up there if you allow them to. And you can all start working on one document at one time. So really handy for maybe teams that are working together. Let's say you're in a pair writing a report, okay, because you're splitting the teaching. then you can actually write your reports together at the same time. Okay. But what we're going to focus on with this is, for this example of reports, is that you're going to edit a report that's already done. So we're not going to add any detail to it. We just want to basically suggest edits that they may need to make. Okay. So we're going to go to this guy here, which is the person that's proofing this. Okay. And what you'll see is you can do a few things up here as well. And again, every time we make a change, automatically saved for both of us as well. So that's really handy as well. So when we're in this mode as the person that is proofreading, we have a few options here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to right-click Daniel, okay? And if I right-click now, you see you've got a few things coming up here. Obviously, usual cut, copy, paste. But the main two we want to look at is comment and suggest edits, okay? They're also up here as well, okay? So comments. And because we don't want to edit this document, we want to be suggesting, because we are the person that is proofreading, we're going to go in suggest mode, which is great. Okay, so I'm going to click Daniel here, and I'm going to, and again, if you look at the other screen, it's in real time showing that. I'm going to do comment. And in this comment, I'm going to say, I don't know, name, informal. Okay, so I'm going to add that comment. Let's just say I had Dan in there. So I've added a comment on here. And then, in the person that's created the document, they'll actually see that as well. So if I go to Daniel here, and you'll see it'll highlight, it'll say, hey, I've suggested a comment on there. Maybe the name's informal. Maybe his name is Danielle Miguel. I don't know. But you can suggest comments on any of this kind of stuff. So you might go in here and say, let's double click that one there. And I'm going to add a comment. And his achievement, this wasn't English. We're talking about maths here. Okay, and comment on that. And then back over here again, you'll see if I go on English, it'll have that comment. So commenting is basically a way of saying, hey, have you looked at this? Or maybe this is wrong, or try this. But you're not actually editing the report, okay? You're just, maybe you're highlighting the word and suggesting something, okay? And so we've got those comments there. Now, back to this screen again, as the person that created this report, as I go through it, I'll have a look at the comments and go, oh, name informal. And what I can do is, I'll just have to zoom this out a little bit so you can see. What I can do is I can resolve that. And if I click resolve, okay, it will get rid of that comment and say, I've looked at it, yep, I understand what you're saying, but I'm fine. Or we can actually have a conversation here. We might say, oh, sorry, what is the correct name? Okay, and I'll reply. And so that will then now come into the conversation of the person that did that too. So they can actually see as well, oh, okay, and you can have a bit of a back and forth on this. But then once you're happy with that, we can leave the comments there, or I'll just click resolve, and now it's gone. Okay, so yep, I resolved that, the highlighting's gone. And what you'll see in this commenting section is it actually has a record of all of that as well. Okay, it says who made the comments and our topic here as well. And we can see that, yep, I've ticked that, I've said, yeah, I've talked about it, I've resolved it. We can reopen it, which means it'll come back. Okay, and we'll reopen the conversation, it's highlighted again, I'm just going to say resolve, and it's gone. And that's your commenting. Okay, so the buddy that is reading this report can make as many comments as they like, and you can go back and you can see those comments and you can act on them or not. So that's your commenting. The other one that this allows you to do, and what we're going to do in reports, so I'm going to go back to this person here, who is the person that is proofing, and we're on suggest edit. Okay, now what this does is this allows you to suggest an edit that you may want to make to the report. Okay, and it puts it in there, but it doesn't actually change the report. It then gives the option of the person who wrote the report to make that change. So again, I'm going to find a section of text, and I'm going to say this section here. I'm going to highlight that, and because I'm in suggest editing mode, okay, and that will stay like that unless you change it. So I'm going to say recall a number of graphs. All right, done. And you can see that it has crossed out in green the original text, and my text is sitting there as well. All right. Now, if I go back to this person, the person that wrote the report, they will see that, hey, they've got that as well. And if I click on that, it's in pink now, because that's who the other person is. And they'll say, hey, this person has suggested that recall number of diagraphs, okay, is actually wrong. It should be recall number of graphs. So they've made a suggestion to the edit. This is what it probably should be. Okay, so they haven't rewritten your report, but they've said, actually, this is probably what you need to type. All right. Now, you can again, reply to this and more info, or actually, no, we didn't. Oops, we didn't do graphs. Okay, so again, you can kind of keep this conversation here and go back and forth if you like to, or you've got this tick and cross, and what that means is if I do yes, accept the suggestion, it'll actually make that change for you, or I can say no, reject the suggestion, I'm sticking with what I've got there. So again, this stops you from having to retype everything all the time. So someone's already done the work, they've actually said, no, this is what you need to type. And I'm going to go, actually, yes, that's right. I do need to replace that text with recall a number of graphs. So I'm going to click tick to accept that change. And there you go. You'll see that change has now been made. So I don't have to retype it. It's been done for me, so I'll make that change. Again, if we go to our comments up here, you can see that it has that history as well, okay? That we've got, someone has suggested that you replace this, and this is what it's been replaced with, and then we've actually done that too. Suggestion accepted. So again, you're keeping this running record of all these edits that are made to these reports. So that way, down the line, if there was a suggestion or a change made in the reports, and you're like, actually, I didn't mean to do that, or I don't approve, we can go back and we can actually see, where along the line that happened and the thinking behind it. So really, really handy. And of course, like we said, when you save this document, you can go back to any version of the document as well. And that is basically what we'll be doing for editing and proofing the reports. So not one piece of paper needs to be printed. Everything's back and forth and it's instant. Now, you don't need to even be logged into this at the same time as well, of course. So the person that wrote the reports can share this with their team, and their team can work on it, they can edit it. Again, you can have 4 or 5 people all editing and commenting at the same time, and each of those suggestions will be actually highlighted under a different name or a different color. So you can do it as a group, and then the person that wrote the report can come back anytime and make those changes when they have time. You can do it at home, you can do it on your Mac, you can do it on your iPad, you can do it in your pajamas. So that's essentially the system that we'll be using for doing these reports, okay? So you can share it with anyone. And then, of course, once you do the first round of edits, it makes it really, really easy to then share this with, say, the leadership team who need to proof your reports as well. One click, you'll now share it with everyone there, and they can do the same process as well. So it makes things really, really easy for you too. And you can also do one last thing too. So obviously this is the comments that are on the document, but if you want to have, say, more of an informal kind of chat or comment as well, you actually have chat. So if I click on chat here, it'll actually open up a little chat log. So this is kind of, again, a bit of an informal kind of back channel chat. So the things that you chat here may relate to the document. It may just be a simple little chat. So you could say, hey, thanks for looking at my reports. And then over here, you can see this chat's going on too. And I can say, no problem, no prob. Or, we'll check the rest on Saturday. And you can have this kind of back and forth chat. Okay, so this stuff here, these little kind of chat windows not relating directly to this. So as in with these comments are relating to certain parts of the text, this is just a chat. Just if you were in the same room, just having a little conversation. Hey, maybe you're using bold too much or something like that. And you can have this little back and forth chat. Okay, and that's basically it. So once you make those edits, it's all done in real time, and so it's always saved. So you can actually go and file save. You'll see that it doesn't have an option up here for file save because it is always saving whenever you make a change. So whenever you make an edit, it saves straight away. Okay, the second you type a character, type a space, it saves. And that's for both people as well. So you can actually close this down anytime and it'll be sitting there saved. So again, if we just go back now, I'm going to go back to the person that read these changes. And again, here's my revision history. I'm going to close that chat window down. I don't need that now. But here's my revision history of this entire document. Okay, so the very, very start, there's our first version. I'll show more detail, and we can actually go right down to the steps here. So there's the very first blank document. There's my reports. That's when I started playing with it at start. Oh, now I've added that Google admin. Okay, and you can see the changes they made. A minute later, okay, and as we go through, you can see all these changes that are going on in here as well. Okay, and you can restore any of these versions that you wish. They're always there. Or again, you can take changes from there. And then we're done. So let's just go back to our documents. I'm just going to go back to the home here. We're out of the way. And then here are all the documents that we've got. Okay, so there's my report sample document. If I click that up, it'll just open straight back up again where we left off. comments sitting there, everything's sitting there. Our person's come back in, and our history is still sitting there as well. All right, so, and then of course, anytime we want, we can share this with other people, or we can remove the people that we're currently sharing this document with as well. And that's it. All right, so the next step now I'm going to show you is how to get this into Informa. And this is the easy part. This is just the copy and paste, essentially. So I'll just show you that, and then we're done. All right. Okay, so in this next step, I'm just going to show you the easier part, but still the part that we have to do, and copy the now finalized, proofread by everybody, wonderful, 100% edited reports, and just put them into Informa. Okay, and another thing I'll show you really quick, if I just bring up my inbox, you'll also see that you'll get these emails as well when you're editing process straight from Google Docs that have the running reply of what's been going on in this. So again, it has your comments, it has the suggestions, everything's there. So you'll get these emails as well. You can choose to turn this off in Google Docs as well. But yeah, they're handy. I don't know why people get rid of that. Okay. So the next step is I'm just going to say that now. Is putting these into Informa. Okay, now Informa is obviously just a web address, which you'll go in here and you'll log in with your Informa details. If you need some help with that, if you haven't done that before, please see me and I'll run you through the Informa side of things. So this is Safari. Now, obviously Safari is my web browser of choice. I think it's really good and I know most of us are using it as well. But what you'll find when you log in with Safari is you'll get this unsupported browser. Unfortunately, the guys that make Informa haven't made it so to work on everything, unfortunately. So you'll need to actually use Google Chrome to use Informa. It will work through Safari, but you may get a few hiccups and bugs and stuff like that. So for the benefit of your sanity and patience, you have to we'll use Chrome. All right, but this one just to save you some time. So sorry, Safari, we'll get rid of you. So here I am in Chrome. I'm logged in as a staff member, and we're going to go into our reports. So we'll click on that there. What you'll see here again is a rundown of your reports. Thank you to Ms. Collins for letting me use hers. And you can see that your percentage of reports completed. All this kind of stuff will be sitting there for you. So we'll go into our student data, student assessment, and we're going to actually put in this data. So again, here are your progression points. Obviously, that's another side of things that you need to do through Informa. We just want to do, at the moment, a comment. So I'm going to use Joseph as an example. I'm going to go into my comment. So all I've done there is I've clicked on the little pencil icon and I got my comment. And this is the best part with Google Docs. All we need to do now is just grab the text that we want to put in there, copy on your Mac, which is Command-C, and Command-V to paste that in there. And again, I can make it a little bit bigger, but what you'll see here is all of that is transferred across exactly how it was in Google Docs, which is really, really handy. I know sometimes when you would do this in Word, it would make it a bit messy, and you have to go back and edit and again spend more time. So the goal here is to spend less time having to do this stuff. So you can see there, whatever you've got in bold, italics, underline, bullets, all of that formatting transfers straight across here, nice and pretty, no need to edit it. Okay, so that's really, really handy for you as well. And when we're done with that, we click that X and there we go. There's all our reports ready to roll. You'll see every time we make a change, obviously in Informa, for those people that are recently new to it, you'll have this save, discard. Unfortunately, Informa doesn't save automatically. You need to choose to save every time. So if I click Save All, it'll save those changes. If I go to get out of this and want to go to somebody else, it'll yell at me and say, hey, you sure? You need to save it or cancel it. So if I do OK on that, again, it's going to keep bugging you with all this kind of stuff, all right? It's a pain, but it's the... So I'm just going to say that. Stop doing that for now. And it's down here to remember to save all or discard all. So if I do save all, just a moment, it'll actually save those changes. Added. There it is sitting there ready to go. Okay, so I'm going to go back in and delete that because it's not that child's plot. And again, save all. And that is your report. So Informa really is the last step now. Okay, you've done your reports. They're written in here. Okay, you've got everything proofed, ready to go. You've got that running history in Google Docs of all the changes that were made. You can revert back to any of them. But then, final task, jump into Informa, copy and paste all that information straight into your comments here. Okay, we can as well, obviously, with your progression points. There's progression points. You can, in your Google Docs report up here, you might want to add in progression points in here as well. So you, as a team, can talk about the progression points. Okay, you may suggest, hey, which one should you be at? So you can actually do that quite easily in here. We can put in, let's see what we can do. Okay, so you might just say progression point, I don't know, 2.5, and just have that in there as well. Or you might have progression points, you know, English, 2.5, question mark. Okay, put that in there. And of course, back and forth with the comments, you know, you can highlight, you can add comments on this. So let's say I was the other person, I might add a comment and say 3. Okay, so you can have this kind of back and forth here as well. So you can talk about the progression points, and then you just have to manually choose them there. But that's it. So then you're done and dusted. So that is Google Docs. That's how we're using it for our reporting. That's how we're using it for our editing. We will save, hopefully, we're saving a lot of time doing this back and forth that we used to do. We'll also save a lot of paper, which is great, so we'll save money. And yeah, and we're using this kind of new collaborative system. So hopefully this is really fun. You kind of get used to it. I mean, as fun as report writing can be. But you'll see how the system works, and you can start using it for, you know, a lot of things. Like we said, you don't just have to do a document like this. You know, you can use your document for your class, for your weekly planning in your teams. You might use it to create documents that you need to, maybe you're writing a poster or an assignment. Again, you can do all that collaboratively. You can open this up when we get the students on here as well, and the students can start doing this process too. They can start working collaboratively. So it's really going to open up a lot of opportunities for us as well. And again, not just documents, but presentations, spreadsheets, forms, a lot of stuff like that as well. So there you go. So if you have any issues with this, obviously it is a new way of doing things, a new way of thinking. Every single afternoon after school, I will be free for this exact purpose, just to kind of help you out, transfer you across to Google Docs, show you how the system works, how the editing, how the copying works. So if you want some one-on-one time, I'm going to have every afternoon sorted. So just email me, book me in for the Arvo, and I'm happy to run you through one-on-one or with a team or with a group or whatever makes you feel comfortable, so we can make the report writing as easy as possible. And that's it. Thank you for your time.